Thank you very much, Michelle. Facing a life-threatening illness is a burden that any of us would struggle with in any circumstances. But when you can't access the only treatment available to beat your illness, then things can be far more daunting. Marina Jordan-Cloran is a mother of two from County Kildare, and she suffers from a condition known as systemic scleroderma. To beat the disease, Marina needs a stem cell transplant, which she can only get if she travels to the United States. To be eligible for the operation, she needs to raise over €100,000 in the next few weeks, and Marina is on the line. Marina, good morning.
Good morning, Pat.
Now, it's an extraordinary situation you find yourself in, but let's go back to basics. What exactly is this condition, systemic scleroderma?
Yes, it's known as scleroderma or systemic sclerosis, and basically my body produces too much collagen. The protein collagen is overproduced, and as a result of that, scar tissue is built up on my internal organs. So in some cases, just the skin is involved, because scleroderma can mean like thick skin.
Yeah.
But in my case, unfortunately, I have the darker side of the disease, which has affected my internal organs. So my lungs have been damaged, my esophagus and my stomach. There's a tiny slight anomaly in my heart, but so far my liver, my kidneys, everything else is fine.
All right. Now, what happens, I presume, is that collagen is needed by the body to repair itself and so on in moderate quantities.
Yes, exactly.
And you produce too much.
Exactly. Just something along the line, when I reached my 30s, something began to go haywire. And unfortunately, it took time to receive a diagnosis, and I had to have some treatment for it in 2010.
Now, what did you discover, when you were symptomatic? What was the thing that alerted you to the fact that something's not quite right?
I was extremely fatigued. Prior to becoming unwell, I was very fit. I worked. I was very, very busy. I would help out with the schools. I was very physically fit. I ran, I swam, I walked a lot. And I was finding just day-to-day tasks I was becoming more and more tired. Walking, if I would go on a long walk, my hands were turning kind of a whitish, bluish colour. And I went on then to discover that was Raynaud's phenomenon. That's where your hands turn that colour, the funny colour. And I would be quite cold. So,
and was it a bit of a detective story to actually figure out what was going wrong?
In fairness, it's a very rare illness, and it's one of those diseases where it can seem like maybe a head cold at the start. Your hands, maybe a bit of a problem with your hands. Maybe your fingers might be cold. They might put it down to a touch of arthritis. Joint pain, things like that. And but then I went on to develop problems with my breathing and a cough, and a persistent cough that just wouldn't go. So I was prescribed an inhaler, and then that didn't really kind of work. Two of my sisters have asthma, and that wasn't really kind of working, and I just kept exercising and thinking, I'll kick this. But eventually I had to have some chemotherapy for it in 2010, and that did help to bring my lung function back up. But unfortunately, there is no real medication for it because it's so rare. There's nothing on the market. So basically what we're supplied with is high-grade immunosuppressants like Celcept that are given to patients who receive, say, a lung transplant or a heart transplant, and also steroids. So basically that's what I've been on for 6 years.
How did you discover that there was a new treatment, a novel treatment available in the world?
I went online and I researched it.
Okay.
I tried everything.
And this led you to where?
Basically, this led me to Dr. Burt in Chicago. I had gone online. I would try night after night, just trawling through the internet, and eventually I found some people that had received the transplant, and then found Dr. Burt. And he seems to be, in my opinion, he's doing it so long now. He started with MS about 20 years ago, but for my illness, he seems to be kind of ahead of the game in relation to everybody else.
Is it a guaranteed cure? you know, if you get the stem cell transplant, will it fix you forever, or is it something that you'll have to renew from time to time?
No, it should put me into remission. Anybody that I have spoken to, we've been over there. I went over for an assessment at the end of January. We were there for a week, and Dr. Burt has helped so many people, and they have gone into remission.
The treatment presumably is not available in Ireland.
No, because it's so rare. It basically involves me having to go in and have my blood cleansed and put into a centrifuge. My stem cells are harvested and then put through a centrifuge, and then I'm brought in. I'm given quite a high grade dose of chemotherapy, and then I'm reinfused with my own stem cells in the hope that my body and my immune system will reboot itself, because it is an autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
And that's like, so many people have benefited from him, you know, from his research and his work. And in relation to scleroderma, I don't think there's anybody who is as ahead of the game as he is at this point.
Now, if you don't get this treatment, what happens? I mean, how, if you don't mind me ask, how much time do you think you have before one or other of your vital organs packs it in?
That's the $6 million question, Pat. We don't know, you know. I know myself, I'm getting worse. I've got a lot of calcinosis on my wrists and my hands, and I'm having trouble walking. I'm right-handed, I can't even write now. I can't hold a pen in my hand, so I use my left hand all the time. My breathing is getting worse. My heart, as I said, there was a slight anomaly in my heart when I had the right heart catheter. In Chicago, they had noticed that, but and that's why they have tailored and tweaked it so that I will be able to receive the super cardiac friendly transplant, which enables somebody where they may have any kind of heart involvement to receive the transplant. A couple of years ago, I wouldn't have been able to, but at this point I can. But unfortunately, as time is going on, there is more damage being done to my organs. And
so it is a race against time.
It really is. I can't wait another 6 months or another year or 2 years, because it will be too late then. And it will be too late even. They wouldn't entertain me at that stage.
And have you got a definitive appointment with this doctor if you can raise the funds?
I do, yes. As a matter of fact, the nurse had emailed me at Easter just to know how I was, and, you know, how the fundraising was going, because I did tell her that we would have to fundraise. And basically they're just waiting for me to go back at this stage.
The target is over €100,000.
Yes, and we do have about 20,000 there. We have had family members that have pledged some money, but nothing definitive, you know. And as I said, we have a lot of fundraising events that are going on at the moment. We have friends who are taking part in the mini marathon, and in a lot of people are swimming in the 40-foot for me, and there's some, you know, 80s nights and, you know, different events, fundraising events and raffles and things that are being held to help us reach our goal. But unfortunately, it is an awful lot of money.
We have just a clip of your husband Alan talking about the problems you face and how determined you all are.
When you know that something's just within your grasp, it's so difficult to just kind of accept that. So we're determined. Myself and my girls, we're determined. We are not going to allow my wife and their mother to die.
And that's what this is all about. It's a family effort, a concerted effort to try and get you the funding for your stem cell treatment.
It is, yes, Pat. I love my girls so much, and I can't look at their faces any longer. You know, them watching me lie down and, you know, having to go back to bed because I'm so fatigued and I can't take part in things, or I can't go to certain events, or, you know, I feel it for them. So I feel I owe it to them at this stage to try every route possible
Well, you've a little way to go, a long way to go, but I'm hoping that people listening in will feel for you. Every little bit helps, there's no doubt about that, because it's called crowdfunding. If a load of people pledge a little amount of money, you could reach your target.
Well, that's what my brother said. My brother's in Australia, and he was on the phone to me last night, and he said, all it takes really is, he said, I know it's a lot, but he said, if 100,000 people pledged €1,
you're there.
He said, you have it.
Yeah.
You know, and I know it sounds so simple, but it is such a momentous task. But I believe we'll get there.
All right. Well, look, I'll give the details of the different ways in which you can access your fund. You can go to ifundraise.com. You can go to @save_Marina on Twitter, or you can search stem cell transplant for Marina Jordan Killoran on Facebook. Any of those will find a way to pledge €1, €5, €20, whatever you have.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Marina Jordan Killoran, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.